Wayne Clark.
Yes.
Richard Badger.
Present.
Dana Keene.
Here.
Martin Weigel.
Here.
We do have a quorum. Michael Suter is not present. Don Niemer not present. And Gerald Bonner not present.
Thank you. Want to make an introduction, Patrick?
I'd like to introduce everybody to our new member of our CDA, appointed by the mayor, Richard Badger. We've had a nice meeting this afternoon, got to learn some of his background, and you want to outline here to the members of the CDA?
Sure. Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Richard Badger. Live 2971 South Stratton Drive. Been in West Dallas about 4 years now. Wife and I purchased a home over here. Came here from Oak Creek. We were in Oak Creek probably about 8 years. Grew up in the city of Milwaukee. Third generation military. Currently, I'm the director of workforce initiatives with an organization called Wisconsin Community Services. What brought me here is Acre grad, so the Associate of Commercial Real Estate in Milwaukee. I graduated in 2016, worked on the Accent Capital Teutonia bid back in the day, and then also I managed the bid district on Burleigh in the city of Milwaukee, so I do have some economic development background. Also worked for Mayor Tom Barrett for 5 years, and so did a lot of the pretty work and some of the ugly work for the mayor. But love development, love just serving the community, so that's why I'm here.
Welcome, Richard. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello, neighbor.
How you doing?
The road is behind.
I live on Stratton.
So now the next item is item number 2, discussion on the development agreement with Land by Labels. Patrick?
Do we do the minutes?
Minutes.
Sure. Is there approval for the minutes?
Move approval of minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any changes? Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Now we're on Land by Labels.
Chairman, I'm going to go over just one little change in the development agreement relative to land by label. We're still working through some of the details. I think, is there somebody at the door? I keep hearing something.
It is wedged
Okay, thank you. Relative to the Ready for Reuse program to the state, I'm going to have Sean outline what changed since our last meeting. But it's something that you should be made aware of, the change in terms of the detail and a little bit of the risk, but we've reviewed it with Ellers and SB Freeman. We're still getting some of the details worked out on this, but it seems like everything is moving forward for tomorrow night.
Yep. Yeah. So just one other change is that they've added 2 units to the building, so there's now a 248 unit apartment building. There was some common space, and they shifted things around, and they were able to add 2 3-bedroom units to the 4th floor. So that will assist in adding some income to the property. And so we're still awaiting that pro forma, which shows that it's a small change when you have that many units, and it's 2 additional. But just wanted to note that. But otherwise, this was a project that was approved by the CDA at the last meeting and is going to the council tomorrow night. This is the 4.5-acre site on the southeast corner of 70th and Washington. Developer has accepted offer to purchase. Land by Label is the developer. They're purchasing from Cobalt for $3.8 million. Again, just a quick review of the units. You can see the unit count on the screen. High quality units, market rate projects, high amenities, some direct walk-up units. This is just a timeline of how we got here and where we're at in the process. Goes to the council tomorrow night for development agreement approval and approval of the funding sources needed to make it happen. This sort of shows what those funding sources are. You can see the source of funds, EPA loan, which the CDA has traditionally done with developers on projects like this where there's brownfield cleanup needed, TIF grant assistance, which we're utilizing from adjacent TIF 7, and then the Ready for Reuse loan, which is what we're really here to talk about for this item. Additionally, there's a PAYGO as part of this, which is increment that's brought on by the development, is then the taxes for it are paid at the start of the year and sort of paid back at the end of the year as part of that. In addition the other funding sources we discussed. And so just real quick on the $2 million source of funds from the WDNR Ready for Reuse, the DNR indicated that they would just like they need, in case the developer didn't make the payments, to pay the funding back. So the DNR actually gets these funds from the EPA just like we do. And the DNR has a little bit better terms on their money than we do, so we thought it would be a good way to get better terms into the project, better money into the project. They have 0%
2 million at 0%.
For 10 years?
for 10 years.
I don't know how much better it gets.
It's pretty good.
Sounds good.
So the one thing that they noted is that if the developer were to not make the payments, they need the city to take a position to sort of guarantee that if those payments weren't made, that we could make them. What
Go sign that out.
it's a general obligation note. We did, and we were concerned about it. We thought maybe we'd have to go bond for it and spend money to bond and things like that. It's not that involved. It's just sort of a placeholder to indicate that we're good for it type thing is our understanding. We met with finance and Ellers and the DNR and had a meeting to ensure that we were okay, and this wasn't going to add to the limit, debt limit, and our Moody's rating is important, our bond rating. So it seemed like from Ellers that it's a small amount of a bigger chunk that they weren't overly concerned about. So we just wanted to note that as that's one of the funding sources, and we just wanted to note.
So if that did happen, would we take it out of TIF?
It would come out of the TIF.
Would come out of
We wouldn't pay the pay-go.
TIF? Yeah. And I did figure out a way it could be better if it was 10 years interest only with 0%.
Well, that's the thing that came up this afternoon, actually, is that the state would like to see some sort of payment per month or annually on that note. Ours is 1% interest, and interest only over the 10-year period, and then 2 million. But they want to see some sort of payment. So as much as that sounds good, now it changes a little bit in the pro forma. We haven't seen the details of that yet.
So they're sort of negotiating the payment schedule with the DNR. What's the minimum payment the DNR is going to accept annually or monthly to?
And this wasn't in any of the materials they provided to us.
You're going
On
to
the
know this
program.
tomorrow?
Excuse me?
You'll have this done tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jason, are you in agreement?
I am, yes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? We'll move on to the next item, number 3, which is the proposal for construction of a single-family home at 6901 West Beloit.
Just real quickly on this one, there's 2 parcels on that corner. If you've been past that site, there's the former Czar's Bar, and then there's a lot next to it. So the staff is recommending that we tear down the Czar's Bar and we would construct a new single-family home utilizing home funds on that site. We've done this in the past. We'd like to do that again. And then the second parcel is smaller in nature. It's not 100 feet deep. It's like 85 feet deep. We put a for sale sign to see if someone could do a smaller home. Maybe they don't want a big garage. They want just a spot to do a house. We put that one up for sale. Or land bank it at this time until we get more home funds to build a single-family home. We don't have access to enough to build 2 single-family homes at that site. Now, could this be also be a rental property and do a 4-plex? We could, but it's also single-family homes kind of in the behind it at that site. And there's a calling to do more single-family affordable right now, so.
Older Run Road?
Which lot is the house going to?
Okay.
The Beloit one
It
or
would-
the 69th Street
It'd be
one?
69th Street, and the garage would have access off of 69.
So that's where you're going to build the house?
Correct.
Okay, and then land bank,
The
the Beloit one?
correct.
Okay, thanks.
We talked about doing one single-family house and just making it one single-family lot, but that would be, it's over, it'd be a 100-foot lot across the front. It'd be a big lot, and when you're trying to use home funds and affordability, making a bigger lot does not help that affordability situation. Here's the corner. The project has been bid for demolition. It came in around $49,000 to tear down the bar. That's been awarded. I think we have a pre-construction or pre-demolition meeting next week, Wednesday or so.
What's the next step?
I would just see if you had any input or thoughts on the way staff is recommending the parcels we met with housing and planning to discuss that.
So is the second parcel on the other side of those bushes in the picture on the right?
No, it's pretty much where the red fence is.
Okay.
Would this be, is it?
It's not, for some reason, the middle line didn't show up.
Did that bar technically own both those parcels?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Any further discussion?
Any thoughts?
No, I agree. I personally want to see more single-family homes and home ownership. So I think it would be good to have two houses and one, if it is a smaller house for, you know, someone starting out, that might make sense just to have a slab and, you know, a 700-foot square house or.
So we might be back here to discuss this. Only reason, we haven't bid a single-family house out since COVID. And the last one we did was, I believe it's 9235 West National. It's blue with the red door. And that, if you look at what was there and torn down, it was, the house had raccoons living in it. And to see what it is today, it looks much better. And that's a similar house that would be built on, at this site. It's just that the garage would probably be turned differently so that you would come off 69th Street.
It
Not
appears
instead of a
you got
long driveway.
It appears you got a green light, so go. do it.
Yes, we're just gonna be curious to see where the construction numbers come in.
3 bed, 2 bath.
It's a possible 3-bedroom, 1 bath. We put the plumbing in the basement, if they wanna add a bathroom. We just tap it out and we leave it at that.
We'll move on to item 4 regarding the redevelopment of 1300 something South 65th Street.
We'll do that in closed session.
All right, next one is 92nd Greenfield, former St. Aloysius Church.
Just as background, you might recall at the last meeting that I shared that the developer requested assistance for the demolition of the property, and we did offer that to the developer with the contingents, with some strict terms. We've had a follow-up meeting on June 23rd, and I'd like to highlight that in closed session.
All right. And then on to 6, Tax Incremental Financing District number 7, Summit Place,
We'll do that in closed session.
closed session. So since I don't have a script in front of me, help me get us into closed session.
Do you have that? For agenda items 2 through 6, the committee may convene in closed session pursuant to provisions of section 19.851E of the state statutes for the purpose of deliberating the investing of public funds whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. The committee may reconvene in open session after completion of the closed session to consider the balance of the agenda.
Motion to go into closed session.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
We're in closed session. Thank you.